Hello, my name is Jessica Briggs, and for my project, my book report for FAB 467, I chose to do Gordon Ramsay's Humble Pie. I had to do it on a Kindle because the book is really expensive and most of them are not from the United States, so that made it kind of difficult to get a hold of. There's the front page of his book, Gordon Ramsay, Humble Pie. Coming into this book, you have that perceived perception of what Gordon Ramsay is from, everyone's seen Hell's Kitchen, and I thought he was just a big, mean person that likes to yell, nothing's ever good enough for him, but, when you start to read this book, you find out it's a lot different, and that's where that title, Humble Pie, comes into play. You realize that Gordon Ramsay isn't what he's made out to be on television, and that's what I think I liked most about this book, is he was actually a likable person. He wasn't some a-hole. He came from a tough background, and maybe that's what the TV show tried to pull out of him. Maybe they were trying to get that out from him, but to start off the book, it was kind of nice. You can kind of see where he comes from. He dedicated it to his mother, says she deserves a medal, and I thought that was kind of sweet. He's mama's boy, obviously, because the first chapter is titled Dad, and it makes you wonder why it's titled Dad. Well, he goes into great detail of his childhood growing up with his father and how his father was an alcoholic and his father moved around all the place and made them move with him, trying to excel in his music career, but that never took off. At least, what it didn't seem like it ever took off. And when he was drunk and angry, he would beat his mother and beat them, and I think that's what kind of started him on his trek to where he is today. But when he was starting out, cooking wasn't his main goal. He didn't aspire to be a chef. He actually wanted to play football, which is soccer in our words. He really tried hard. He played summer ball with these big teams in England, even though he's Scottish. I didn't realize he was Scottish until I started this book. He started playing football for these, like Manchester United and all those people, and then he hurt his leg really bad, and that's what pushed him into the kitchen, because he couldn't recover. He tried to recover, and it just wasn't the same. So getting started, of course, he started at the bottom, like everybody else, and one day, I think it was a fry cook or saute cook called out, and they pulled him off dishwashing, and it was his turn. From there on out, it's pretty much history. He started out and realized he really loved to do this stuff. And he met a guy named Marco. And Marco probably had to have been his biggest influencer, mentor, whatever word you want to use. And Marco kind of also took him under his wing. It got to the point, though, where he was over Marco. He was like, I'm done with this, and convinced the whole staff of the restaurant one night to walk out, making it close its doors. It's kind of crazy that Gordon Ramsay had such a big influence on all of these people at such a young age. I think that's pretty impressive, and it kind of inspires me as a young professional to keep pushing forward and to not give up on my hopes and dreams, whether I'm good at right out the door or not, just keep going forward, and maybe one day I'll get what I really want, which is not to be a server and bartender. He got into kind of some shady backdoor deals with some Italians when it came to opening his own restaurant with Marco, and he realized it. He realized he was being played. He figured it out and said, you know what, I'm going to go do my own thing. And they said, you're not going to make it. You need our help. You need our money. And Marco got kind of desperate. But Gordon Ramsay said, I'm going to do it, and then he realized the hard work it is to open and own your own place. And, you're always working and you have no money. You're broke. But then he met a girl and he ended up getting married and had a child with her and continued to succeed and has opened many more restaurants on top of that. He has many Michelin stars at all of his restaurants, and it was his goal to attain Michelin stars, and lots of them. I never knew what those were until I started reading this book. And what I also thought was great is he also went into detail about Hell's Kitchen. And in these details, he told you how much he hated doing it. He said it was quick and easy money, and that's what he wanted, but on top of it, it wasn't worth it for him. He was unhappy, and he said he tried to teach these stars in Britain about what it is to cook, and they were just doing it for the show. They didn't care about cooking. Especially one day when they yelled at him back, and he's like, "No, that's not how this show is, and this is crap, and I don't appreciate it." And that's when he moved to the U.S. for the show, and he said he liked it a little better, but it still wasn't for him. He just wanted to cook and open his restaurants and share his appreciation for food for everyone. And the first place that he did open a restaurant was here in New York. And he spread all over, and I think everyone's had some of the, pub and steak and burger here in Las Vegas. And he made a point to explain that it's not about the money to him. And people say, how can you open all these restaurants and you're not there all the time? And he says, I wouldn't open these restaurants if I couldn't be there. He says, I'm there through the opening, and I come when I'm needed, and I still show my love through my food, and I trust my staff. He said that was the big thing for him, is he trusted his staff. And I thought that was very important, because trust in this industry is very hard to find. So it makes a lot of sense to me that he could, he doesn't take on more than he thinks he can handle. And now I know he owns a lot of restaurants, but if he can handle them, if he thinks he can handle them, then he can handle them. I mean, he's a millionaire now. I don't think you can disagree with him and disagree with his success, because that's, I think, what everyone wants, to be successful in life. And I really did like to read this book. Going into it, I didn't think I was going to really care for him. I thought it was just going to be how rich he is and how he's had this great life, but it's exactly what the title says, humble pie, and he's humble about it and in the book, and I really, really enjoyed reading this book. I wish more teachers would make us do book reports. It went into a lot of detail that I never thought I would learn about somebody, and I thought it was really nice to it was kind of eye-opening for me, and it makes me want to keep pushing forward, like I said, and not to stop here, and to keep going for bigger and better things all the time. And I really appreciated everything that he had to say, and it was also kind of an easy read. I enjoyed how quickly I could read through it and still retain the information. He also used cuss words, and I thought that was good, because, I'm my age, or anybody my age, it's easier to read with smaller words, and I felt like he connected on my level, as opposed to, an older person's level with big words and stuff that made it boring. It was not a boring book to read at all. It was very fun and exciting, and I really enjoyed learning about Gordon Ramsay.